I love a nice long morning. Coffee is good today. It's Sunday, day off.
Huh? What?
And kids keep coming in and out. Not for any particular reason, just because. So my days, especially on Sunday, I have to make myself very available for the kids. And by kids, I mean teenagers. And by teenagers, I mean a 16-year-old and a 20. How old is he? He's about to be 21, which is crazy. And then the other one is 20, but he's hardly here anymore. He's always with his friend, which is fun because he's bipolar and so am I, and we bump heads a lot. We trigger each other. He is an air sign. I'm a water sign. He don't care. I care too much. It's a mess. So it's been good that we've gotten some space because I was really feeling like a single mom there for a while, feeling overwhelmed, feeling unheard, feeling animosity towards my teenagers because they're not keeping the house clean enough. Which I have OCD. I didn't know that until recently. I have not been diagnosed with it like I have avoidant personality disorder and bipolar, but I've talked to my therapist about it. I definitely have OCD. I really don't want any more diagnoses because a lot of spiritual sensitivities look like mental health disorders on paper. And I'm very aware of that. So I try to look at my conditions through a spiritual lens and do not just the mental health work, like dealing with self doubt and childhood trauma, but doing the spiritual work so that I can protect myself with prayer, cleansing my energy, and calling my energy back, and taking more control over my life. I feel like as people, we don't feel powerful. There's a lot going on with like politics and the government and the environment, and it feels all very much out of your control. But it's not though. And honestly, and I'm not trying to sound like a religious zealot or anything. Religion has nothing to do with the things that I speak about because I don't involve man in my relationship with the Most High. I just don't. And I know I refer to the feminine aspect of the Most High a lot, but I also commune with the masculine side of the Most High. It all just depends on my need in that moment. It's kind of like having a parent or two parents, a mom and a dad, and sometimes you need your mom and sometimes you need your dad. So that's how I view the Most High. But I very much understand that it's a whole, which is why it's so sad to see these this war between the sexes, this manufactured war between the races. It's so sad because we are so powerful together and we are literally designed to be together. The strength and the logic of the man and the empathy and the nurturing strength of the woman, and coming together we can rule. And it's just sad that we feel so intimidated by each other that we break each other down. It's very, very sad. So I have tried to do my part by breaking down those dynamics in my family. We have 5 boys and 1 girl, and I've tried to instill respect for the divine feminine in all of them and acknowledgement of the masculine, and try to teach my kids how to be balanced people. But unfortunately, I didn't realize that that was even important to teach them until later on in my life. So my older kids are kind of disconnected from God. But we know better, we do better, hopefully. These are some of the books I'm reading right now. This is so good. This book is from like 1840 something, 1857. It's an autobiography of a Jamaican woman whose fame rivaled Florence Nightingale during the Crimean War. Mary Seacole traveled widely before eventually arriving in London, where her offer to volunteer as a nurse in the war was met with racism and refusal. Undaunted, she set out independently to the Crimea, where she acted as a doctor and mother to wounded soldiers while running her business, the British Hotel. A witness to major battles, Seacole gives vivid accounts of how she coped with disease, bombardment, and other hardships of the battlefront. Told with energy, warmth, and humor, her remarkable life story is a key work of 19th century literature that provides significant insights into the history of race politics. This book is so good, and I love the way she speaks. I can't even describe to you the way that she speaks, but it's very descriptive. The way she paints the characters, the way she speaks about them, she speaks about them from the inside out instead of describing them from the outside in. That's what I like about her. She's very insightful. And then Braiding Sweetgrass, oh my gosh, is fast becoming one of my favorite books. This was actually a suggestion from a subscriber, and I've been reading it for a while because I'm reading like 9 books right now, and I'll read a little bit out of whichever one I'm called to that day. And this book is about a Native American woman. Well, it's not about, it's written by a Native American woman who's also a botanist. And it's just talking about the spirituality of plants, indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teachings of plants. I love this book. I was up late last night working on my merchandise. I have 3 aprons, I believe 4 hoodies, a t-shirt, and then I just made a top and a bottom set. And my pieces are very, very simple because the way that I dress outside is head to toe black. Like, for real. I dress like a freaking ninja or something. I don't like clothes that have a lot of brand names all over them or a whole lot of designs or patterns. I'm very, very simple. And just like my music or anything else that I do that's artistically expressive, I kind of do it for myself. So I wanted to make clothes that I would actually wear. And since I have a brand, if I'm going to have to buy clothes, I usually buy clothes once a year. I'm not going to grow anymore. Like, I may lose some weight, but I'm at the age and point in my life where I can go ahead and invest money in good quality clothes because I can pass them down to my daughter. We have pretty much the same frame, and she's not going to be that big of a human. You know, I'm pretty much the same size I was in high school. So I'm very excited to launch, and we're going to launch on March 20th, and I'm very excited about it. I had to find out what I was going to do to invest the money that I made in other places so that I could have passive income. And I always wanted a laundromat or vending machines. And I still may get some vending machines. I still have a lot of research to do on that. But as far as t-shirts, that's something that I've wanted to do for years. I actually started doing the research for it when I was in rehab. And my business model may have changed, but the fact that I'm actually bringing that what was once a dream into fruition is a big deal for me because I'm not very good at finishing projects at all. Or at least let me say I haven't been good at finishing projects in the past because that's not who I am anymore. And I really do want to stop speaking on the things that I don't want to exist in my life. Because I'm so tired of talking about my mental health, but I have to talk about my mental health, but I don't want to acknowledge it as disorders, even though that's clearly what they are. I just want to view things differently. I had this dream about a week ago because I have a reoccurring dream about multiple unidentified flying objects in the air of this place that I live when I go to sleep. And it would seem like an invasion dream. And the first couple times it happened, it did seem like that. And I panicked and then I woke up. But the more and more I started experiencing it, I became less reactive and nothing actually ever happened. We just saw the ships. Like, nobody ever came out of the ships. Nobody ever attacked anybody. So I came to realize that it was an intergalactic highway. So last week, I had another one of those dreams, but I started to panic because for some reason I thought someone was going to like come through the back door. Once I saw them, I thought we were going to be invaded by like grays, and I started freaking out, which, by the way, there's a lot of different types of grays. They're not all dangerous. I believe it's the ones from Zeta Reticuli that are dangerous. Just in case you ever run into one, don't be like prejudiced against it because it may not be malevolent. Anyway, so in the dream, I was led, I looked up, I saw the saucers, I began to panic, and then something was like, change your perspective, and pushed my head down, and I looked up, and all of a sudden I could just see like what looked like lasers connected from everybody on the ground up to the ships to back down to where we were to like the ground, and then up to like the trees, and then back down to the ground, and then everything was like connected, and it was like, you got to change your perspective. And ever since I had that dream, I brought that lesson back here. I brought it back over because I was told that's the point. We have these existences over there so that we can learn things and bring them back here. And that's a way that we're communicated with by like our guides, God, universe to help us here. And every time I've been met with something that would have caused me anxiety before, I stopped and I went up in my mind and looked down like I was an eagle at the bigger view. And I could find something beneficial out of it. That lesson of change your perspective stuck. I used to fall asleep and forget everything that I was supposed to remember. I had insomnia for years. The fact that I can sleep right now is such a blessing. And I'll tell you what happened one day of why I can sleep now. I actually got healed at a Christian rock concert because when a bunch of people are in one group and they're singing at a certain octave, it can have healing effects. And I experienced that. Well, shoot, I don't have to tell you the story one day. I just told you the story. One of the biggest challenges that I've had over the past month is being consistent with working on the book. The research is easy, but the sitting down and putting everything together and writing, sometimes I'd rather just watch YouTube, but it's not fulfilling. I'm just tired, and a lot of times I don't want to do anything. These kids get on my nerves. They're great. They're great kids. People are annoying. I mean, it's just fine. But, the days of making excuses are over, and girl, finish the book. So, you know how I've been living with this new program of working out every day, reading every day, writing every day? Well, I upgraded it to you need to read for at least 10 minutes because that whole, well, I read a sentence, no. Okay. Since now I know that I can stick to my new routine, I start to add to it. Kind of like when you're working out, you don't want to stay like where you are. If you can run a mile, then eventually you want to run a mile and a half, 2 miles, etc., etc. So I've changed the writing every day to working on the book every day for at least 10 minutes. When I start a new goal, when I try to add something new to my plate, I'll just begin with 2 minutes. Just start with 2 minutes, and then I go up to 10 minutes. I'll do 2 minutes for a couple weeks and then we'll be like, all right, we'll do 10 minutes. That's how I start to do anything. That's how I started doing push ups. That's how I started working on my music consistently because consistency, focus, and memory are issues that I have. I don't know what day it is ever. Don't even bother to ask me what day it is because I'm not going to know. Unless that's a day where I get a direct deposit, I'm not going to know what day it is. And that's just something that I have to accept and something I don't even need to stress about. There's just certain things that are hard for me to remember. Now, this is the mental health part. This ain't got nothing to do with spirituality. So, whatever. Finishing things is a challenge, but I have found a solution, and now all I have to do is just actually show up, which I'm going to do. It's show up season. Because if not now, when? Now is the time. Now is the time. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me here in Fury World. If you're interested in more videos about mental health, spirituality, or single parenting, check out my playlist. If you're interested in checking out my music, it's available on all music streaming platforms worldwide under my artist name, The Fury of Abyss. If you would like to follow my journey of healing, hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit the like. If you like me, I love you. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.